It is July 8th, and I am going to be doing a walkabout of my garden starting at the bottom left-hand corner of my property. So here is the hedge on the left-hand side. All up and down are lilies. They've been fabulous at managing this edge, which was really difficult to manage before, but lilies being, oh, look at that. Lilies being bushy and having a nice kind of bushiness to them, they kind of end up basically overflowing and making a good edge. So they're all up and down the edge of the property. Let's go back down and take a little closer look. There is a cherry tree, lilac, and another cherry tree. Beautiful hydrangea. We've got this kind of pattern all the way down. Lilac, hydrangea, lilac, hydrangea. Another lilac down here somewhere. Yeah. Right next to some hostas, a plum tree, which has been amazing because here's where I cut it in the fall of last year because I thought it's growing too large and I won't be able to harvest the plums. Well, that's all 1 year's growth. And that is the pattern with everything along this edge, is that the neighborhood water, you can't see it, but there's basically houses back there and a house here, and same here. We've got our house and then there's a house behind, and that kind of pattern falls all the way up the neighborhood. And for whatever reason, it all flows down the middle, right along that back fence line, and then it flows down here. So that means everything along this edge gets a really healthy watering with even the slightest bit of rain. And that is how I account for the amazing growth. This is a black walnut tree. It is, how many years old is it? Maybe 8? But it's doing amazing. I expect it to produce nuts soon. I don't know, I say that every year. And there's a lot going on underneath there as well. We've got a forsythia currant. What are those things? Purple flowers. I know what they are, but I'm forgetting it. Those are lady's mantle going to flower. We've got some black-eyed Susans back there, not yet flowering. Some stilbees just trying to make it up through them. Back there, that big bushy thing is lemon balm. Coming along this side, I decided this year that I didn't want to mow this anymore. And I had a lot of cuttings for currants. And we love currants, so I just decided to plant them. By the way, with currants on my property, you just take the stick and you just shove it in the ground and it grows. That's pretty much how it works. So that, we've got rows of those. So I won't have to mow that anymore. What else? Okay. Here is Nikki's garden bed this year. First year, it's not really doing all that well. Haven't really figured out why, but probably because there's not a whole lot of depth to the soil. But we got some Egyptian walking onions this year, which is a first. Really love these. You can eat them like regular onions, or they'll bow down under the weight of the onion eventually and then plant themselves, hence the Egyptian walking onion. I've got some potatoes in compost in wood chips. They're doing well. Well enough. Got some row of peppers, not doing very well. A row of carrots, not doing very well. And a row of something that wasn't doing well. So I just transplanted some tomatoes. These are my cucumbers. They're doing really well this year. Some tomatoes at the back. Here's my sunchokes. Provide a nice privacy barrier in the summer. Got broccoli and lettuce and tomato. Tomato down the middle, lettuce down the outside, broccoli on the end. Here we've got a squash, lettuce, some parsley, and growing up through some cabbage with a little bit of lettuce interspersed. And then we've got some sunflowers growing along the edge. And that is Dad. Say hi for the camera.
Hi.
He's working on the chicken coop.
This is the chicken industrial complex. Industrial chicken complex.
Okay. What are you doing right now?
Well, I'm putting wire around the perimeter so no creatures can get underneath the shed. And no coons, no rats, no mice, no U.S. citizens.
Okay. And
behind there.
Behind him is this is just a video. I'm not.
It is.
I'm just going to post it on YouTube. And there's the chickens. We won't look at them today. Beside my compost is some elderberry, growing really well, and some peas. Up the peas are growing beans, and they are attaching to this lattice work where the peas probably won't. Behind them is my 2-bin compost system. And hi Ellie. Those are, I'm not sure what those are. Those are Nikki's type flowers. These are peonies past their flowering. Here's some mulberries, which are in various stages of ripeness. This one, oops, is edible enough. They're very sweet, very sweet. That one was a touch of sour, which is great. Black-eyed Susans, hostas, transplanted hosta, black-eyed Susans. And then we've got these popping up everywhere, which are aronias, or choke cherries. They are making their way out from the hedge. Those are all choke cherries. They're edible and they're very delicious. Hydrangeas. I forget what these are called. I know what they are, but I just forget what they're called. Lupins. Burberries, which I'm trying to propagate by burying the tips. And beautiful hydrangea bush. Lilies, hydrangeas, and Burberries. Coming over here are more, this is some oregano, it's like spicy. There's some lemon balm, and behind those are black-eyed Susans and some sunchokes. This is one of Nikki's. Can't remember what it's called. There's another lupin. Those are hydrangeas that we just transplanted. They'll come back. They seem to be taking. There's a Russian sage. There's a cute little pathway between our house and kind of a saggy. What do you call them? Purple bloom. Anyway, when I get out here in front of the camera, I lose everything. Is there bee balm, I think? Another lupins. I don't know what that flower is, but it's beautiful. Amongst some asparagus that are past their due. There's some lamb's ear. Not sure what that is. Some lavender. Azalea, that's what that is. The other one on the corner too is an azalea. Then we've just got strawberries basically everywhere. It's sort of the default ground cover around here. And some hostas under this beautifully tall ash tree. It's ideally positioned because it is, that is the south, and directly behind me is the north, or pretty much, you know, that's south, and then directly behind me is north. And this casts its shade on the window, so we don't really get any direct sun in here in the summer. But thanks to this tree being an ash and it loses all of its leaves, and also because it's trimmed very high, in the winter we get full sun almost all the way back to the kitchen in there. Up and around the windows are clematis, and we've got some other hostas and emerald cedar back there, as well as a burning bush. Here's my kind of figure 8 plots down here. Along the border is bloody dock and sorrel. Sorrel's sour, it's really delightful. And then we've just got a bunch of things in here. Much of what you've already seen, I've already named. There's the hazelnut right there. And a bunch of currants, and the addition here is this year is a rose bush, which is struggling to be transplanted, but it's still alive. There's definitely some rose sprouts coming from the base. And then we moved this character in here this year and planted a sibling to it, which is a rhododendron. Along the edge, as an edge management solution, we have planted hostas. They do really well because all I do is I just mow my mower kind of under there, and the hostas kind of hide the roughness of the edge, so makes for a nice clean edge, I think. This is always a work in progress underneath here. Got some hostas along the back edge, but it's pretty rough in the middle. Just filled it in one year because it was just so hard to manage. So it's sort of still being formed. The front end though has lilies, which are starting to bloom. Very nice. And back here in our maple guild, we call it a maple guild because maples are the dominant feature. We've got a burning bush, beautiful American elderberry in bloom. Little maple volunteer there. But mostly this is all strawberry. Strawberry. Except for occasional pops of plants, like got 5 or 6 of these hascaps. And this character, this is a male. He's doing super well this year. Very vigorous. That's all new growth this year. From right there up. This is a what is it? Sea buckthorn, sea berry. Over here we've got a grapevine growing up our maple tree. It's basically all the way to the top, but every once in a while it comes down to drop some grapes. This is an interesting character back here. This is a, what is it? Juneberry. All kinds of strawberries in there that I haven't picked yet today. I'll get around to them. Beautifully big ones. For example, that one. Lovely. All kinds of them everywhere. I've actually been through here once today. I just didn't get to this end. But anyway, we have two female sea berries, which will produce beautiful orange fruits. And this is basically our Bob Gordon elder berry, and it's accompanied with various raspberries and such. And we've arrived at the bottom right of our property, which features a large ash tree with hostas around the bottom.